Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be drawing my childhood imaginary friend, and I'm also going to be talking to you about some interesting facts and statistics and other things that I found out about children who have an imaginary friend. So originally, I was going to try to draw and talk at the same time, but my lack thereof artistic skills needed my full attention while trying to draw my imaginary friend if I wanted to draw him to the best of my abilities. So I'm just gonna talk like this and put the video right here of me drawing, and yeah, that's how it's gonna roll. The fact that I had an imaginary friend as a child isn't something that I regularly think about on a daily basis, but I got reminded of the fact that I had one while I was looking up what are called the psychic senses. Some people call them the clairs. I'm gonna put a little side note in here. If you're interested in a video on the psychic clairs, let me know. I will gladly do one. There is this one clair called clairvoyancy. Being clairvoyant is images popping into your head that correlate to something you're talking about. Maybe you see orbs or you see colors around people. And I was looking into all the different types of psychic senses. And when I was reading through the clairvoyant section on how you can tell if you're clairvoyant, one of the signs that you are clairvoyant is actually when you were younger, you had an imaginary friend. And then something just sparked in my head. I had an imaginary friend and I remember him so vividly. That kind of sent me down a rabbit hole of looking up a bunch of stuff about children who have imaginary friends. And I learned a lot of interesting things that I'm going to share with you. Some people believe that imaginary friends are actually a manifestation of what that child wishes to be. In my case, I don't think that's it. And you'll see why once you see the drawing of my imaginary friend. Something that really blew my mind actually was the fact that it is more common for the oldest child or an only child to have an imaginary friend. I am the oldest child, so I fit into that statistic. Also, by doing research, I realized there are a lot of parents that are super concerned that their children have imaginary friends in the first place. There are tons of articles on how to handle your child's imaginary friend, or is it normal for your child to have an imaginary friend? I guess I haven't thought about it because I don't have a child, but there are really parents that are super concerned if having an imaginary friend as a child is healthy. There are also studies that kind of contradict one another. Some studies believe that kids develop imaginary friends because they're lonely, while other studies say that it's not due to loneliness at all. Personally, I don't really know why I developed my imaginary friend. My imaginary friend, I feel like I had him from the time I was 4 to the time I was 6. I don't really remember if I was lonely. Also read that some children actually develop imaginary friends to help cope with stress or pain in some way. A lot of studies actually said that children that have imaginary friends are actually more sociable, have more real friends than most other kids. Personally, that was not the case for me. Not that I didn't have friends, because I did. I've never been one to have a lot of friends. I was not a social butterfly. I was very shy. I still am a little bit shy. A lot of studies also said that children who have imaginary friends have very good social skills. I feel like I have good social skills. I'm good at talking to people in a social setting. Do I want to always? No. But I'm decently good at it. Something else that was said in multiple articles was that children who had imaginary friends or children that have imaginary friends are better at knowing that other people think differently than them and are better at understanding other people's emotions and where they're coming from. Personally, I feel like I'm a very empathic person. I always can sort of just tell how people are feeling. I kind of already know how people are going to react to certain situations. So I feel like in my case, that rings true. I feel like this is kind of an obvious statistic, but children who had imaginary friends are more likely to be creative as they get older or have more of a creative mind. One thing that really blew me away it was this article about how having an imaginary friend as a child can affect you in adulthood. One of the things said that if you had an imaginary friend as a child, you're more likely to talk to yourself more than most people. And I talk to myself constantly. Actually, like, that was crazy. Then, of course, you have people that believe that some imaginary friends that their children see are actually spirits. I 100% believe that's a possibility, that children can be talking and communicating with spirits unknowingly and say that they're an imaginary friend. Personally, I don't, like I said, when you see the picture of my imaginary friend, I was not talking to no spirit. And when you hear this man's name, I'm gonna be literally judged forever. Overall, I feel like there are tons of interesting statistics when it comes to imaginary friends. I feel like there are very interesting facts and studies that go on. Personally, I don't resonate with all of them. I resonate with some of them, and I feel like that's how everyone is. I don't feel like there's gonna be one way. Everybody obviously goes through life differently, has different experiences, and the reasons that they have an imaginary friend are gonna be way different than the reasons I had an imaginary friend. Some of us, who knows why I don't even know why I had an imaginary friend, but I did, and by now, the drawing is definitely done, so get ready to meet my imaginary friend. Woo! Alright, the moment you have all been waiting for, he is officially drawn. This is my childhood imaginary friend. His name is Seco Forte. Yes, Seco Forte. I don't even know how you would spell that, but that's his name. So, Seco Forte was most active in my imagination when I was at my grandmom's house for some reason. My grandmom would let us play with, like, her pots and her pans, and she would let us make soup, which was basically us putting water in a bunch of her pots, and then she would give us all the spices out of her spice cabinet, and we would just dump some spices in, and I would usually make soup for Seco Forte, and he would critique me on my cooking skills. Other than that, I don't know, he always wore a hat, he never took his hat off, he barely spoke, and he always carried a suitcase. He had no arms, the suitcase just kind of stuck to his side, and that was about it. So yeah, this is Seco Forte. Did you like my soup as a kid? I thought so. I'm gonna show Seco Forte to some of my family members and get their reactions. Do you want to see what my childhood imaginary friend looked like?
Sure. Just a blob. Traveling detective, Mr. Blob, LMAO.
You want to know what his name was?
Sure.
His name was Seco Forte.
One more time?
Seco Forte.
Seco Forte.
Yeah.
Well, it may not be the name I would choose for him, but that's his name.
Do you want to see my childhood imaginary friend?
Yeah. He was orange?
Yeah.
What? I thought he was a pear, I'm gonna be honest. What was his name?
Seco Forte.
That's what I thought.
First of all, thank you so much for watching this video. If you had an imaginary friend as a child, let me know in the comments below. If you're interested in any of the articles or videos I watched on this topic, they are all linked in the description below. If you want to draw a picture of your childhood imaginary friend, I would love to see them. Post them up on Instagram and tag me at JustAlexiLife. And I might post you up on my Instagram that only has 85 followers. I am super, super, super grateful for you. I hope you have a great day, night, and life. I will see you in the next one. Bye.